Crescent City Steakhouse, a true neighborhood restaurant operated by the Vojkovic family since 1934, is the oldest steakhouse in the city of New Orleans. Serving only hand-cut, prime-aged, corn-fed beef for over 80 years, Crescent City Steakhouse has become a dining destination for both die-hard locals and adventurous travelers who seek traditional, timeless New Orleans cuisine. Crescent City Steakhouse, 1001 North Broad, on the corner of St. Philip, in the heart of New Orleans.
Hey, don't forget my pimento cheese. Of course.
It's okay, I'll take it from here.
Hey, the guy get a seat!
For the love of palmetto cheese.
So here's the bottom line. Well, it's funny that you say that. Let me tell you. Good evening and welcome to a very special edition of Primetime Sports. Hey, when the Saints start their season and LSU Tigers, we talk football the entire time. When the Pelicans start their season, of course, the college basketball teams, well, we talk basketball for the entire show. Well, it's no different. Like I say, the Major League Rugby team is starting in the third season this year, and they're moving to the Shrine on Airline. So this is a NOLA Gold Rugby show. Stay tuned. It's going to be a fun one right here on Primetime Sports.
Make no mistake about it, life's more fun with seafood.
Oysters don't swim.
They do in butter.
What'd you get? A little bit of everything to make everyone happy.
Acme Oyster House. Life really is more fun with seafood.
Rock and roll will never die. It's old New Orleans, my oh my. Come on, baby, let's go rock and roll at the city lane. All night, let's roll, let's rock and roll. Baby, do the rock and roll. At the mid-city lanes, the home of rock and roll.
Handling a gator like this can be scary, and this is pretty risky too. But do you know what's really dangerous? Dealing with the insurance company after your car wreck. If you've been injured, get a fighter. That's why you need to call me. I'm not afraid to handle them, and I'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve. So if you've been hurt, hire a professional. Just call me. Get it done.
Get Gordon. Get it done.
Call 1-800-653-9968.
Did you know that GMFS Mortgage is the largest independent mortgage company in Louisiana? Their 250 employees have helped over 79,000 customers make the dream of home ownership come true. They funded over $12.9 billion in loans right here in Southeast Louisiana. If you're ready to buy, build, or renovate a new home, or just need to refinance, call the company born and raised here, GMFS Mortgage.
Crescent City Steakhouse, a true neighborhood restaurant operated by the Vojkovic family since 1934, is the oldest steakhouse in the city of New Orleans. Serving only hand-cut, prime-aged, corn-fed beef for over 80 years, Crescent City Steakhouse has become a dining destination for both die-hard locals and adventurous travelers who seek traditional, timeless New Orleans cuisine. Crescent City Steakhouse, 1001 North Broad, on the corner of St. Philip, in the heart of New Orleans.
Hey, don't forget my pimento cheese.
Of course.
It's okay, I'll take it from here.
Hey, can I get a seat?
For the love of palmetto cheese.
Primetime Sports with Scott Alexander is underwritten by Task Performance.
Hey, welcome back to Primetime Sports. I said, like football season, we talk Saints and LSU nonstop at the beginning of the season. When the Pelicans come around, it's a Pelican show, and it's no different for the third Major League franchise in the Crescent City, and that's the NOLA Gold. We've been teasing you about them for the last couple months. Well, now we're going to have a full show because this Saturday at 3 o'clock in the Stronghold Airline, which we now known as the Goldmine on Airline, the season begins against Old Glory. That's Washington, D.C., and I can hardly wait. We have a couple of players coming on today, and we also have the GM, which has been on the show before, Ryan Fitzgerald, as well as the owner, Tim Falcon. But first, the players, and here they are. Benny Tarr back for his second appearance. How are you, my friend?
Oh, doing well, Scotty. Doing well, mate.
And our new big fella right here, Dino Waldren.
Yeah,
by the way,
excited to be here.
Former football star, 151 straight games at the De La Salle, not here in New Orleans where I went, but the one in California. Let's just start there. 151 straight games, biggest winning streak in high school football history. How did you do that?
Well, I mean, that's about 2 years before my time, but being part of that legacy, I mean, it was huge, right? Bob Laddiser does a great job there, and the whole coaching staff at De La Salle, shaping and molding these young boys and these young men, and the way they're able to change and adapt after graduating class, come in, keep the system the same. And I mean, it's really kind of similar here with NOLA. You have this older brotherhood that goes on, and the expectations are high. It's going there and win championships, and anything short of that is considered a failure.
I got to segue perfectly right now. You mentioned NOLA. You're on a team that was so close to a championship last year in San Diego. They fell right at the end of the game, the championships to Seattle. Now you're here. I know they're excited to have you. Why'd you pick New Orleans?
New Orleans, because New Orleans, it's New Orleans. It's a city with endless limits. I mean, you can do whatever. It's a beautiful place. I enjoy it. Southern hospitality. The food's great. The coaching staff that they have, the general manager, the office, everyone's lovely. I have a bunch of mates on the team. I just think it's a wonderful place to be on the front foot of playing professional rugby. And again, Louisiana has just all these different things, these possibilities for me as a player during rugby and post-rugby. It's just got this wonderful, wonderful atmosphere to it as well.
And before I get to the Thunder from Down Under, I got one more question about NOLA. What did you know about NOLA before you got here, and what has been your impression about it since that maybe you didn't know?
I really didn't know much. New Orleans to me was the city bourbon. Everyone knows bourbon. And of course the Saints and the Pelicans. But when I get down here and I see how passionate these people, the fans are, and how passionate the communities are about their sports teams, about their athletes, and about their stars, it just really brings home a place where you want to be. You want to be in a city where they're passionate through you through thick and thin. They stand by you all the time, and that's what you want. As any athlete, I think, could agree to that. You want a fan base and a city where they're dedicated, and definitely New Orleans is a dedicated city.
You're going to love the people in New Orleans. Love you to love them, and when you do that, you're going to be a fan favorite already. By the way, Ben Tarr right here, starter at prop last year. Those are the big guys. If you don't know, those are the guys that make it easy for the little guys to get around, just like football. But last year, Ben Tarr, first place most of the season. Ben Tarr goes down. No coincidence that the team struggled down the stretch. Give us an update on your injury, and are you back? Were you back at full strength yet?
Yeah, thanks, Scotty. That's perhaps an overstatement, but yeah.
That's how you told me probably no.
I'm certainly back to full health. I mean, the third year back in the city, it was a very easy decision to come back, and as Dino said at great length, this is a phenomenal place. I mean, this year I'm just so excited. We've now got guys from all around the world, 10 different nationalities.
Yep.
And to be honest, it's not a tough selling point. If you're an exciting young player, up and coming, Ryan Fitzgerald gets in contact with you and says, come play for NOLA Gold. You know, you've heard the stories.
He's relentless on the phone. He's
New
good.
Orleans. And certainly the way things are going, I liken it to, I've been telling people, have you ever had a banana smoothie? And if you've ever had a banana,
Put alcohol in it?
No, yeah, in New Orleans that's a definite.
And then you get in the drive-thru lane?
But if you've ever had a banana smoothie, you'd know that the smoothie itself's far greater than the sum of the ingredients. And there's something about this city being a melting pot. Everyone's come together and gelled. It's a reflection of the culture here.
I have to remember that on air. That's a good one. That's a good one. Did you think about that before you came here? You just came up with it on the spot.
I do like my fruit analogies. I I rely on them quite heavily in life. So I've got a few tomatoes. That's another one.
We'll get to those
next show.
Unlike Dino, who obviously chose this for the first time, you had choices after first year. You came back for your second year. Now you're in your third year. Why do you stay here?
Scotty, Dino's really harped on it quite a bit. There's certainly an allure here, massive, so many things, the food. As a young boy growing up in Australia, you hear myths about the Bourbon Street. You don't know if it's a real place, it's fantasy, but it's true, and I've experienced. And I'll tell you what, there's a reason that there's, I think we're up to about 6 Australians on the team now. I'd be very surprised if Utah has an Australian on their team.
No.
I don't need to say any more there, but yeah.
Well, I'm going to say this. Yeah. Australians and New Orleanians are a lot alike in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
They like to have fun. They have a joie de vivre. As far as this team, now I want to talk about this team compared. You've seen the growth of not just the MLR, obviously, but the growth of this team from year 1 to year 3. For the fan that hasn't seen the team, what can you tell is the difference from the team like in the first year to now?
Look, it's really been unbelievable. I mean, it's every day I wake up excited, being a part of something that's growing. You can feel it, and a lot of that does come back down to the support base. And every single person that's come out to a game the past 2 years, and bear in mind we were playing on the West Bank. Certainly was a little rough around the edges. All those people have been coming back and coming back. They love it. And just seeing how things are going, how we're on an upwards trajectory, it's just unbelievable. And certainly our team has grown. We've maintained a core group where the gel. I mean, it's often said in sports a brotherhood, but it honestly does. We are a family, and it shows the way we play on the field. It shows when fans come to the games and they interact with us, because that's a unique thing about rugby. When you come to a game,
you're addicted. Yeah. I know the feeling. After one game, I was like, I love this sport. Real quick about you, the stadium. Last year you played for San Diego. I was impressed. I was like, this is really nice atmosphere. It was the final game of the season, for all the marbles pretty much. And you guys won a close match. When you see the new stadium, which, by the way, the Baby Cake Stadium for those, this is a whole new atmosphere. This is going to be 8 events, not 70 hot baseball games. But when you see that stadium, kind of compare it to what you've seen around the rest of the league.
Bar none, I think it'll probably be the best stadium in the MLR. The landscape, the atmosphere that it's going to entail, the New Orleans atmosphere, the fans behind them, the way they're crazy about their sports fans. Just to have a stadium that's just centered like that, and we're also moving over to the East Bank. It's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait to play inside that beautiful stadium. It's going to hold, I think, 10 to 15.
Well, we're going for tennis.
We're going for 10.
We're going for 10. We're going for 10.
We're going for 10. But I like I said, everything's going to be perfect for that setting for rugby. And again, for New Orleans, it is the perfect time and place for rugby to take hold in the city that has, again, a need to fill that hole during the months of February to July.
And for you, as far as this squad, what's the difference from the little guys? I know we had a couple guys that are hurt. They couldn't come back. We had a couple Australians that were on the last show. What about the new additions? What have you seen from them that's going to help this team?
Well, we got Dino coming. That's a massive addition. He's another prop. And as we've said in the past, and it's a well-known fact globally, that if it wasn't for beer, props would rule the world. All right, so the more props we have, the stronger this team's going to perform. That's my own personal opinion. As far as some of the international guys from Argentina, the Samoa Aussies, those guys are incredibly high. They're high caliber players. New Zealand,
South Africa.
Yeah,
bunch.
it's
we're international
awesome.
now. Yeah.
By
By the way, I heard the Argentinian's very good. We give gifts on this show. We're going to give you a nice gift certificate to a restaurant called Shays de la Shays, literally around the corner from here.
Oh, right on.
You're married. You can bring your wife, and you can find some Philly on Bourbon Street. So you've lost a little weight, so I'll give you the XL.
Oh, thank you, sir.
And I'll jump you up to that double XL.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it.
He's already been on this ball. We have a tradition from Archie Manning to Carl Malone, the mailman. We signed the ball for the first time.
Always.
So this will be your son, Dino Waldren. You're right there with Ben Tarr, Travis, your boy Tristan Blewett, and of course the GM and owner who are coming on right
Love
next.
it.
But by the way, thank you very much.
Thank you, Scotty.
Thank you very much.
Good to
That's
see
Task Performance. You've had a couple of those shirts. You like them?
Very complimentary
Thanks,
on the figure there,
Nice
mate.
to see you.
Cheers,
Welcome,
Scott.
welcome
Thank
to
you.
New Orleans.
Thank you very much.
We can't wait to have you. I love your personality. It's going to be a fun year. Get out to see those gold games. We've had our next two guests. We've had them on before. We had Ryan on last year and the year before. And before that, we had him on talking football because he was a scout with the Senior Bowl. Tim Falcon is the owner of the team, one of the pioneers of the MLR, one of the main reasons that this league is growing so rapidly. They're coming up next right here on Primetime Sports. It's the NOLA Gold Show.
Hey, don't forget my pimento cheese. Of course.
It's okay, I'll take it from here. Hey, can I get a seat?
For the love of palmetto cheese.
Did you know that GMFS Mortgage is the largest independent mortgage company in Louisiana? Their 250 employees have helped over 79,000 customers make the dream of home ownership come true. They funded over $12.9 billion in loans right here in Southeast Louisiana. If you're ready to buy, build, or renovate a new home, or just need to refinance, call the company born and raised here, GMFS Mortgage.
Rock and roll will never die. It's old New Orleans, my oh my. Come on, baby, let's go rock and roll at the city lane. All night, let's roll, let's rock and roll. Baby, do the rock and roll. At the mid-city lanes, the home of rock and roll.
Make no mistake about it, life's more fun with seafood.
Oysters don't swim.
They do in butter.
What'd you get? A little bit of everything to make everyone happy.
Acme Oyster House. Life really is more fun with seafood.
Handling a gator like this can be scary, and this is pretty risky too. But do you know what's really dangerous? Dealing with the insurance company after your car wreck. If you've been injured, get a fighter. That's why you need to call me. I'm not afraid to handle them, and I'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve. So if you've been hurt, hire a professional. Just call me. Get it done.
Get Gordon. Get it done.
Call 1-800-653-9968.
Welcome back to Primetime Sports. Hey, we had the players, and now we have the management and the owner. You've seen him before. My man Ryan Fitzgerald's been here. He was here when we were doing football with him, talking about the players going to the NFL. And for the last 3 years, he's been the general manager of the NOLA Gold. And, of course, the owner, Tim Falcon's been here before. Yep. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome back.
Scotty, thanks for having me.
Brian.
Appreciate it.
By the way, last year, unbelievable run. We know he had some injuries. I know Ryan was like, everybody's like, the GM of the year. And I'm going to be real with you, man. I can't believe how you get some of these players, and you do it the right way. So how do you do it? Because, I mean, players that keep telling me, they say, man, this guy has a way about it on the phone. I talked to Scott Gale last week, and he said it took me 15 minutes and I was in. So what's your secret?
Well, I think it's about a lot of times trying to do our due diligence that we do as far as scouting and evaluating, trying to find the right guys and the right culture that are going to fit in here. Me, myself, being down here for 10 years and playing on our men's team for years and knowing all these old boys and playing 100 games with Tim's oldest son, Jared, and 50 with Cameron. You know, you kind of know the culture and the environment that I think the people are going to fit into this.
So the guys that we're going after, I think we kind of have a pretty good preemptive idea about them that are going to fit here. And in between that and just talking and obviously knowing the lay of the land, knowing where the culture that they're coming from and what we're trying to build here, and to find the right guys that are about to that really want to lay that and be a part of that with us. But I tell you what, be GM of the year, you're only as good as the players on the field. So
no doubt.
All the credit goes to the players on the field and the coaching staff doing the work, because if it doesn't go that way, then you're not doing any.
Everybody's
doing
a remarkable job.
So, yeah.
Like this year, you bring in Robbie Coleman and Julian Dominguez, among many other great players.
Sure.
But you've also unearthed some guys that had potential, like Tristan Blewett last year.
Yeah.
Some players, I'm sure, this year. How do you know the player that's not established, and what do you see in tape from them that makes you want to go get them?
I think, like I said, watching a lot of tape and having some experience with that for the past couple of years with the NFL. Prior to that, trying to find those kind of. If there's the NFL, find those 5th, 6th round undrafted guys are good and have the potential, and they got the character to develop if you put in the time. Our culture here is a lot of draft and develop mentality.
Right.
Getting those core group of guys in and getting those guys that have the young potential around them. You get them in the professional environment with professional coaching staff, and you can see the growth that they're going to have. We've seen it this season and this offseason already.
I remember in the fall of 2017, you talked to me about it. You said, hey, I'm in rugby now. Can I come on your show? And I'm like, I remember you saying one thing about it. You said, Scott, you got to go out. The culture of the sport and the players and the camaraderie of the sport and how they hang out with the fans after the game, it's so unusual. And I saw that immediately. And I saw it obviously a lot more when I was around the team a lot. But what makes rugby different? And you're a great person to ask this, because you've been around so many NFL players as being a scout for the Senior Bowl. You've seen players. You've seen them become jaded. What makes these guys stay the course and be the same person they always are?
Well, that sport and that mentality is different from any other one. Even the social afterwards, like Tim mentioned last week when we were in Houston, the social afterwards, to drink and have dinner with the team, with your opposing team afterwards, and exchange man of the matches. Stuff like that doesn't happen anywhere else. Rugby being a small community at first, and then growing and people knowing each other, everybody knowing each other and playing on clubs from side to side. We're all kind of in it together as that sport, and that grows. And I think that brotherhood and that culture builds off that.
And they play with the fans, and they hang out with the fans. That's what I'm so impressive.
Absolutely.
Tim Falcon, I want to remind everybody, you're the pioneer of this. You're the reason there's a team in New Orleans. Tell people your story. I've heard it before, but there's a bunch of people that are now watching on CBS, WWL, that probably weren't watching before. But you started LSU football, and tell them how you got into rugby in the first place.
Sure. So over 41 years ago, I was at LSU, walked on the football team, didn't quite work out. They threw me a rugby ball at registration, and I started playing in 1978.
So 41 years ago.
41 years later, I still play a little bit of rugby. But, through the years, I was able to play with New Orleans, all administrative, helped start the high school leagues. My sons all played. They went on and won championships. And so 3 years ago, the opportunity came along to do something really unique. And I think the sports landscape is to start from scratch, a blank slate, get in with other guys, the same kind of background, same kind of owners who had been around rugby 30, 40 years, who now wanted to take this amateur game, which has been in the United States for 50 years or more, and turn it into a professional league. And it was just, again, we started from a blank slate with 7, 8, 10 guys in a room.
From different cities?
Different cities, 7, 10 cities. Started about 10 cities across the country. And at the end of the conversation, 7 stood up and said, we're going to do this.
This is fascinating, because this is what drew me in when I saw that, first of all, the 7 cities were no slouches. I mean, you're talking about Seattle, San Diego, the Denver area, Houston, obviously, Austin, Salt Lake City, and, of course, New Orleans. And those are the pioneers. But then in year 2, you bring in the 2 biggest cities in their countries, New York City, Toronto, and that's like, this thing's got legs. And then in the middle of last year, there was rumors of new teams coming, and then Boston, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, are coming this year. With next year, you're talking about Dallas and Los
LA
Angeles.
Already in. They're in.
And teams like places like Las Vegas, Chicago, Miami, San Francisco clamoring to get in. How are you growing so fast?
Because it's the second most popular game in the world, and more importantly, it's just a great game to watch and be a part of. Like Ryan was saying, and the players were saying earlier, once you get around these people and see the passion and see that they are so genuine, and I call it the age of innocence. They just want to play the game.
That's a good term.
They're happy they're happy that they're making the salaries they're making. They love the professional atmosphere, and they just want to interact with the fans. They want to play with the kids. They want to sign autographs. It's just really unique, and that's what makes it so special. When people come out, they do fall in love with this game.
And it's funny, you hear the term, rugby players are, that's a hooligan line with the soccer players, they're hooligans fans, and But the thing is, that's the thing. All fans. I mean, not just like the adults that want to drink. It's a family atmosphere as well. Whatever you want to do, you want to go with your mates and go have a good time and drink beer and have a great time,
Right.
or you want to bring your 3 and 5 year old kid. They're all welcome the same, and they all have the same kind of good time.
You know, and a big part of our mission with MLR and for NOLA Gold is to get kids playing rugby. So we're going to introduce them to the game. Pre-game, they're going to be out there passing the balls around, meet the players. We're going to get them into the schools. They're going to come out and show the kids that it is a really good game. The girls too. We want the girls are playing, and you know it's a great sport because it's fairly inexpensive to put on. It's got all the elements of American football,
right?
But even more. So so we're really excited about bringing it to town, and you know now we're at the point with MLR that we are actually starting to target the cities that we want to go to next. I mean,
that's when you know you're making it.
We've got people coming to us, and we're just saying, well, let's see. We want to be in Chicago. We want to be in San Francisco. We're going to target the cities that we need to be in.
And besides the great cities, what I've noticed from year 2 to 3, you're not just on CBS, which is an unbelievable thing to have your championship, not on the CBS by 60 Minutes CBS, and your games, CBS Sports Network, and of course CST, but now Fox Sports is involved. Now ESPN's now involved. What is that growth, along with going into a 10,000-seat stadium that's being refurbished? The field is unbelievable looking. What does this mean, not only to league, but to the NOLA Gold?
First, to have thought 3 years ago when my first hire was Ryan Fitzgerald. You know, I brought along the former Marine, 2 tours of duty in Iraq, played with my son. I saw the passion that he brought. I saw the way he was able.
I see it every day.
And so from the first hire with me and Ryan looking around saying, okay, where do we go? And you know, building a stadium on the West Bank to get off the ground, and to sit here 3 years later and say we would be in this position is unbelievable. It's a blessing. It's truly a blessing. But what it means for the league is just it legitimizes what we're doing. It shows that it's an affirmation that these networks are coming in. And so after third year, they're going to start having to compete for our broadcast rights, and that's when we start turning the corner. That's when we become very dangerous in the world, the landscape of sports.
Well, I mean, when the governor of Louisiana is talking about he can't wait to get to the second game, which is, by the way, the Atlanta game, so that's a new rival. Get to that one if you can't make the first one. That's another.
We'd like to thank the governor. He's been very supportive, you know, through the LSCD and their work and all the board members, Kyle France, Hillary Landry. Those board members have been really supportive. You know, we're a tenant that I think they need in the stadium, and it's a stadium that we need. So it's a good partnerships building, but we have to prove ourselves. They've kind of thrown the gauntlet out there saying, prove yourselves, show you can have people come to this game, and we'll help build this facility out like it should be.
In 15 seconds, why do people need to be there this coming up Saturday?
Well, it's like I said, everything that we just said. Unbelievable sport. This is the real deal. Like Tim said, the first 2 years we've been running through the gauntlet, done everything. For them to lay it all out for us and everything, the stadium's going to be unbelievable. The atmosphere, the stadium, the culture, the players. DC coming down here trying to take it from us on our home turf, not going to happen.
Well, I'm going to say one thing. I was an NFL and NBA agent for a decade, mostly NBA, but those athletes are superior. I had no idea how athletic rugby players are from around the world. I'm going to tell you this. Many of these guys could be in the NFL right now if they had focused on football. That's how good it is. You're going to love the contact. Get out there in New Orleans. But we love to give gifts here. We got you right here. I'm not sure who the XL is, but we'll go there.
Yep.
And then we got this nice black one. TAS Performance.
Thank you, sir.
Wait, have you ever worn TAS before?
Every day.
Every single day. Almost every day, too. My underwear first serve every day. Thank you guys for coming. Good luck this season, guys.
Appreciate it, Scott.
And have a great time, even when you're winning games.
Yep.
And I can't wait for the season as well. Get there to the Shrine on Airline. I'm telling you. I know it's. If you're watching this game on CBS of the show, you got 6 days. Get there. If you watch it on Tuesday, you got only 4 days. So get your tickets. Go to NOLAGoldRugby.com, and we'll be seeing you there. Hey, we're going to see you next week right here on Primetime Sports. Well, it's funny that you say that. Let me tell you.